Good morning, everybody. So, welcome back. This is gonna be our first lesson being on this quarantine. I miss all you guys. I wish I had you guys in person to be able to work with you easier. So I'm gonna try explain things as best as possible, and then try your best. This is just to improve your skills and get you drawing much better. Now, what we're gonna be focusing a lot more is about lighting and the shadow it casts. Okay. So we're gonna start really simple with we're gonna draw cactuses, and I'm gonna show you my process of doing things. Now, a lot of things that we do before we get started with our official project, you need to start doing little sketches, little thumbnails. Now, these thumbnails are to help you just brainstorm to get these ideas out of your head. That way you're not too focused on making everything perfect. This trying to get that out of your system. That way you could pick your favorite and then really focus on that one piece. So what we want to do in the beginning is get a paper. And for those that don't have materials, I'm going to be just pretty much working with a pencil, eraser, paper. If you don't got paper, you could get things like this, a cardboard. I'm learning right now how to do oil painting, and my teacher is telling me you can use anything. Now, this is one of my pieces I barely started, and it's cardboard. So you could cut old shoe boxes, use envelopes, use anything to really draw on, just so you guys can practice, okay? But make sure you get permission about ripping your shoe box or anything, or grabbing extra envelopes from your parents. Make sure that they're okay with it, okay? So anything you're using, paper, cardboard, whatever you're going to use, what I want you to do in the beginning is just sketch out some ideas. Now, we're going to be doing cactuses. And usually you see these little cactuses potted. So we're going to do like little potted cactus. We're not going to do the cactus you see in the desert. So there's going to be two parts to this project. What I want you to do is first create a little pot. And use very simple shapes, geometric shapes. Right here we got a long rectangle, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, this is just to brainstorm, so nothing has to be perfect. Right now you can make mistakes and it'll be okay, because then we're going to redraw it and redraw it. This is just to get ideas out. So as you can see, I started off with a rectangle. Then we're going to slide in, shrink that pot up a little bit, and then the bottom, let's put another little rectangle. Okay. Now, once I got my pot, now I can start working on a cactus. Now, I just want you guys go really simple. Don't go too crazy on this, because this is more about the shading. And the more complicated you get, the more complicated your shading is going to have to be. So what I would do is first go up and then curve it back down. Let's get this tall cactus. And then usually cactuses like this, they'll have arms growing almost anywhere. And it doesn't matter. There could be one, no arms, or up to 6 arms. But like I told you, try to keep it simple. Curve it up. Curve it back down. You're going to follow, just like we've done the snakes before, you're going to follow the same curves when you come back, okay? Now I'm going to give them a little hand going up here. And then we're going to go back down and come in. And then take a look at that. We got a nice little shape. From the look of it, we know it's a cactus. We know this is a pot. Really simple, right? Now the next step we're going to do is we're going to give it a little more detail. Now cactuses have these little lines that split them apart, and that's usually where your needles will go. So all I want you to do is put these little thin lines and kind of follow the curves of your lines that you created on the outside. So right here, before I get to the edge, see how we curved in the end for the cactus? Well, I want you to do the same thing. Follow that curve, okay? Same with this. You're going to just follow the curve and meet up in the end. And we'll just fit 2 in here. That way it doesn't get too squished. Right here, we'll just give it 1. Go down the middle and all the way up. Okay? Now, once you get this done, what I want you to do is play around with the pot. Now, what we want to do is we want to play with some patterns inside the pot. Now, what is a pattern? It's something that repeats itself, right? We do circle, square, circle, and then what's next? Square, right? It just keeps repeating itself. Okay, with these patterns, don't get too complicated with it. Keep it really simple, keep it fun. Me, I've been really stuck on just doing these little like mountain shapes, triangles, just going back and forth. This is pretty relaxing. And then what I'll do is in between these little segments, I'll give it a nice little shape, like I like my circles. And then we'll drop it down here, and then I'll do a little like wave, come back in, go like that, and then go all the way across. You know, let's do another wave. So I kind of go up, and then I draw a C. You see that? Then we go up, make a point, draw a C, and just like that. Then I could decide what to color in. Now remember, when we color, start from one side and work your way to the right. Or I guess not to the right, top to bottom, left to right, right to left. Just make sure that you're working from one side to the other. That way we're not leaving any spaces white. Okay? And remember, we're in quarantine. I know you guys got other homework to do, but remember with this project, you could put it to the side, take a break from it, and then come back and rework it. Now I'm going to decide these waves are going to be black, because I think that would just look much nicer than leaving everything white down here. And what I want you guys to really test yourselves too is try to just keep it pencil. Don't worry about the color right now. Later down the week, I'm going to show you guys how we can add color to this and how we can change this up with color. But today, I would like you guys just to really focus on the shape of our cactuses. Okay, now right now what I'm doing is I'm darkening my lines. I like how they came out, so now let's make them official. Let's let them pop. Okay, and then you can do the same with all your lines. Go over them, make sure that you're bringing out the contrast. Now remember, what contrast is that, say we had two objects, we got this white paper, and then I bring in my white mug. It's not going to contrast too much, but then say the background is green, then you can see my mug much better. There's heavier contrast, okay? Now the best colors are going to contrast, of course, is going to be your black against your white. This is where you can see a big difference when you put those two colors next to each other. And then I'm going to darken all these little lines. And then, of course, what do we need to add? Let's add some needles. You could go all the way around. And then, of course, on these lines, you could add some needles coming out of those lines. Now, they could be going up, left, right. It's up to you. I mean, these needles are going to be all over the place to protect the cactus. And then this is pretty much, we got ourselves our little cacti inside our little pot. Now this is, you can stop here and this looks really cool, or we could continue and add some shadows to bring it out more, to give it more depth, okay? Or we can add some color. That also will help bring it out a little more. But this is pretty much a cactus in a pot. Now, with art, like I tell you guys all the time, is that depending on the time you put into a project, the better it's going to look, okay? But then in the end, it depends what kind of look you're going for. Some people just go for this really simple look, and it looks great. I mean, it doesn't have to be super detailed all the time. It just depends on what you're trying to produce at the time. Okay guys, so on the next part, I'm going to show you guys how we can add some shadows to the cactus, okay?